All right, joining us next on the show today, he's the congressman representing Arizona's 2nd District. Always happy to sit down with Representative Eli Crane. Congressman, thanks for joining us on the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, you guys have been pretty busy. Capitol Hill's been on recess for this portion of the year, and you guys are getting ready to head back next week. But listen, if you check out your social medias, I've seen it on, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. You guys are out doing massive work within your district. You want to give our listenership a little bit of an update on some of the great work that you've been doing inside of Arizona too?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been hitting the district. I just got back from Resolution Copper Mine this week. Got to check out that operation. Unfortunately, that's one of these operations that is on hold due to the Biden administration's war against our natural resources, critical minerals, etc. And once that thing is greenlit and ready to go, it will be a huge economic boom for Arizona. But not only that, guys, as you know, many of these critical minerals like copper that we have, they go into so many of the consumable goods that we have, a lot of the manufacturing that we use, whether it's in aerospace or national defense or whatever. And, it just breaks my heart and it pisses me off, quite frankly, to see how foolish we've become, with just how we look at, whether it's gas and oil or copper, or even coal mining. I mean, these are resources that we need as Americans, whether it's for energy or just some of the other industries that I mentioned. And instead of, utilizing the blessing that we've been given to live in a country that has so many natural resources, we're trying to shut it down. And, it seems like it goes along with the rest of the Biden administration and the radical left trying to destroy the United States. And so, one of the things that we've been focused on this break is getting out and, learning more about some of these industries and some of the plants in our district. But also, the week before, I went on an energy tour up in Montana with Congressman Rosendale and Congressman Biggs from Arizona. And we got to see a lot of the energy plants that Montana has. We went to a hydro plant. We went to a coal mine. We got to see so many amazing, different mines and sites that were producing energy, a refinery. And, if you're going to represent and vote on issues like that, you need to learn about those things.
No, you certainly do. And when you talk about the amount of re-regulations the Biden administration has been implementing and the absolute killing they've been doing on American industry and raw ore mining, it's been absolutely, just awful to see how that's contributed to, the loss in the value of the dollar, the crippling economy that we're going through now where, about 70% of American households are using nearly 70% of their total income just for food, fuel, and housing. And, people are just absolutely getting crushed out here, and we're looking for a way out. One of the things that I want to talk to you about is we're getting ready to segue into that and looking forward to next week when you guys are back up on the Hill, Congressman, is the start of appropriation season. We've had a couple of your fiery but mostly peaceful counterparts here on the show in the last couple of weeks. We've sat down with Corey Mills. We've had Wesley Hunt in here and Congressman Mike Collins. And, the frustration that they've, given our listenership in saying how you guys have only essentially worked out one appropriation bill and still have 11 to go. And, the way Mitch McConnell's kind of vapor locked in a couple of speaking events over the course of the last couple of weeks, and they're nearly done with the Senate appropriations, just kind of pisses them off even more. I know that you are one of the biggest realists that come on this show. Congressman, you tell it like it is, even when the news is not great. As you're getting ready to go back up there next week and start, debating over these appropriation bills, what are you looking forward to?
Well, it's not exactly, I wouldn't say it's what I'm looking forward to. I just know that there's a fight coming. I think it's going to be a lot like the fights that you've already seen in this Congress. It'll be the Freedom Caucus and maybe a couple other conservatives who are trying to use the leverage that we have, to secure the border, stop the reckless, out of control spending of the federal government, rein in the DOJ, et cetera. And then you're going to have the uniparty try to do what the uniparty always does. They're already posturing, messaging that, hey, if you guys don't, basically come on board and join the team, that's what they always say, then the government's going to shut down and we won't be able to continue these investigations that, quite frankly, they never wanted to do in the first place. And so it's just going to be another fight, and we're going to see who wins. Unfortunately, we always find ourselves in the minority with, much smaller numbers, as you guys know. So I try and keep my expectations managed. But I think you're going to see another fight in September.
Yeah, and you're also going to be not looking forward to signing anything that has like omnibus or just bloated continuing resolution on it as well, much like the congressmen have alluded to, have come on the show the last couple of weeks.
Not a chance, guys. I mean, this has been pretty steady for me the entire time. I mean, I hate to sit here and bag on Republican leadership, but this is one of the reasons that I didn't vote for Kevin McCarthy, because I was pretty confident that if we had Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the House, we were going to get more of the same. That's exactly what we've got. It's even when I look back to the debt ceiling fight, we were told, hey, if you guys just come on board and join the team and help us with this vote, we'll tackle the spending problems through appropriations. We'll do the 12 appropriations bills. You guys have seen that hasn't happened. Big shocker. So it's frustrating, guys. It's frustrating. You said it yourself. I am a realist. I'm not going to make predictions on what's going to happen, but I know there's going to be a fight. We'll see who wins. I hope some of my more moderate Republican friends will recognize that, once again, we're not much different from the Democrats. We're basically heading down a trajectory of reauthorizing and appropriating, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's, budget. That's where we're headed. And if a handful of us can't stop them, that's exactly what the American people are going to get.
I mean, that's it right there. We don't like to listen. We would like victory after victory, but we try to explain to our listenerships, because here's the biggest thing that frustrates me, Congressman. I'm sure you could allude to this. I mean, I know you don't live on social media. You guys post the work that you've been doing. You're not like one of the congressmen. There are some who go out and go tit for tat with constituents, but that doesn't really get anything done. But it's like every time I see congressmen who I know are America First, who I know are, holding it down in the Freedom Caucus, the ones I know that didn't vote for Kevin McCarthy, posting stuff online, and then every single person in their comments is like, do something, or, you guys are all the same. And that's not the case. The case is it's a numbers game. There's 435 members of Congress. There's like 35 on the best day ever that are going to always vote with America First. It's usually a lot less. It's usually around 20. And the fact of the matter is like, why don't we ever try to hold all there's 200 other Republicans on our side of the House who do absolutely nothing except rubber stamp the status quo. And we just don't focus enough attention on that, because all it does is cause infighting. I mean, I get it, but the fact of the matter is that we could do a lot better job. We really can. And it's guys like you that are holding the line. It shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately it is. And, you want to segue and talk about House leadership. Now, Kevin McCarthy has finally decided that he probably is going to open an inquiry into Joe Biden. I mean, Donald Trump would have been impeached 5 or 6 times by now, just for mere allegations, because that's what all of his impeachments were based on, where we have actual physical receipts materializing on Joe Biden. New ones every day.
It would have been 5 or 6 times before lunch.
Truth, because we do know Nancy Pelosi likes to get to happy hour and she gets all of her work done in the morning. But here's the thing. When you see the non-assertiveness of House leadership right now, we know that you didn't vote for the Speaker, and that we're only moving into the inquiry, and who knows where it's going to go after that. Is that just not enough for the American people, or do you think at this point it really doesn't even matter, because, we're essentially 12 months away from the next general election?
Yeah, clearly, guys, it's not even close to enough. I just see it as slow walking. Try and give the American people enough to where they're not, tearing the place down. That's really all I see it. If they really were serious about it, they could get the ball. They could have gotten the ball rolling on this a long time ago. They could have, and it's not just with these investigations. It's also with getting our fiscal house in order.
Yep.
You name it. There's so many ways that we could have used the leverage that we had, and of course we didn't do that. Basically because we elected somebody who, has been a part of the Uniparty for a very long time. And so this is exactly what we deserve for that vote. And no, it's not even close to enough for the American people. The American people are tired of the two-tier justice system. They want to see us fight. They want to see us fight back. And it's just funny, guys, because as I go back to even that speaker fight in January, where there were 20 of us that started holding the line, I can't tell you guys, one of the most frustrating things was how many conservatives, quote unquote conservatives, that were beating us up, those of us that were trying to hold the line, and calling us legislative terrorists and all of these things. And now these same people that were beating the 20 of us up, that were trying to actually affect change and get you a speaker or leaders in there that would actually disrupt the status quo. Now these guys are complaining about, why aren't we doing anything? Well, one of the reasons we're not doing anything is because you didn't give us any air cover when we were trying to make changes in the House.
Yep.
That's why. And so, yeah, it is frustrating. And you're right. I see those messages all the time where people are like, do something. And it's like, I could sit here and I could try and be like Tom Brady after they lose a game, or pick your NFL quarterback and, sit here somber and say, well, I didn't do enough. We didn't play good enough. But the fact of the matter is, guys, we're not all pulling in the same direction. Okay. This team, not everybody on this team is pulling in the same direction. And that's hard for me to say because I come from an environment where I come from the SEAL teams. If you're not all pulling in the same direction, somebody could get killed. Okay. But the problem is that my voters sent me up here to affect change. They did not send me here to just, vote the party line and resume status quo. And that's exactly what we've got. And, it pisses me off. But at the same time, I'll tell you guys, I'll tell anybody out there, it's like, on almost every single vote that I can think of, I have tried to disrupt and affect change. But when you are, like you said, when you're 10% of your own party, you're probably not going to be able to get a lot done. So I realize I'm frustrated, guys, but that is what it is.
No, it's the truth. And, you talk about your prior service and just the figurative language up on Capitol Hill, providing air cover for you guys. It's like for years, cover my ass meant one thing. But then when you get in the one election cycle, you, Corey Mills, Wesley Hunt, Luttrell, and a whole bunch of other veterans up there who, wind up being part of the big America First vote, even though you guys are a smaller number in the grand scheme of things, like, providing air cover means a whole different thing. And when those guys come back looking to, do a little secret handshake and say, hey, help me out on this vote or this, that, and the other thing, you guys are going to be like, no, you guys are fucking crazy. That's not the way this goes down. You're either going to, be true all the time or it's just not going to go down. Congressman, last thing I want to touch with you on today, we saw it was kind of a slow news weekend with Labor Day and stuff. Everybody was out there working in their districts, and we've got some stuff going on in the presidential primary. So, we see President Trump continuing to rise in the most recent polls. It looks like he's going to have a clear path to the nomination again, the all-elusive three-peat. We've been talking about some sports figures here on the show today. It's going to put him in a very elite category. But, at some point soon, the Trump campaign is going to be segueing towards the general election. We saw Joe Biden did speaking events in Wisconsin and in Pennsylvania last week, making up stuff about Donald Trump not creating jobs and never building anything. We all know that that's absolutely false and not the truth. But, as you see the way the ticket's shaping up right now and the overwhelming success nationally that Donald Trump has shared, do you feel like, in your place up on Capitol Hill, that is going to be one of the only solutions that's going to get this country back on track to see him win the nomination, eventually the presidency next fall?
100%. It's why I endorsed him right off the bat, just because, and I realize, like everybody else, that Donald Trump is far from perfect, but in this day and age that we live in this hour in history, we need the strongest, baddest fighter we can bring to bear. And Donald Trump is most certainly that individual. And all you have to do is look at how terrified the other side is of him, which is why they'll do anything to destroy him. It's why you see all the lawfare. These guys will mess with elections. They will sue this guy to kingdom come. And I hope, it's like, I hate to even say this, guys, but you've heard others say it. I hope his security is really tight.
Yeah.
Because we're not just talking about regular old politics anymore. There's so much at stake. You're watching the United States right now teeter on whether or not we're going to save this thing or whether we're going to be a full-blown banana republic.
Yep.
And you see hints of it every single day. They know Donald Trump is the biggest threat to saving it. That's why they got to take him out. And that's why guys like me will, do whatever we can to support him.
You know, I do have to mention real quick before we cut with you, Congressman, I think you might like this one and maybe take it up to Capitol Hill next week. You talked about teetering on the verge of becoming a banana republic. Donald Trump has alluded to the same narrative as well. You know, my co-host over here, Noah, came up with a good one. There's so many Republicans on our side of the House who just do nothing except rubber stamp for the establishment and watch our country teeter on the verge of essentially moving towards extinction. We've called them banana Republicans here on the show. I don't know if you like that one, but listen, you may not be the ones going after President Trump, but if you're complicit in just standing there and willfully watching this country teeter off the side of the cliff and into oblivion, you're just as complicit as the Democrats and the deep state and the administrative state who are working hard to make sure it gets there. So I hope you like that one. We got to give Noah credit for it, though.
I like it. I actually like it a lot, guys. And the reason those banana Republicans get to continue to serve and represent is because their voters don't pay attention. Mm-hmm. And if they do pay attention, you know, they want a different America than I do, and that our founders wanted. And it breaks my heart, guys, as somebody who feels so blessed to have grown up in this country, so blessed to have gotten to serve this country, and a dad who's raising kids in this country. I want my kids to grow up with the same amounts of freedom and opportunity that all of us did. And right now, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen unless, you know, these banana Republicans wake up or their voters send them home, period.
No, you know what? We did a really good job last election cycle. We made a lot of great friends, yourself, all the other America First, Trump-endorsed congressmen and women who come on the show. We're looking to extend that even more heading into the general election cycle and get you guys some help up there on Capitol Hill for sure. Congressman, we're going to live link your congressional website in the show description today, but for anyone that's not following you on social media, where can we direct them?
They can. You guys can find me all over. Rep Eli Crane. But we appreciate the opportunity to come on, and I really appreciate that you guys continue to hold down the airwaves and provide air cover for us.
Anything that we can to help make America great again. Honestly, it's the only job we do here on the show. This is the Congressman representing Arizona 2. This is absolute warrior up on Capitol Hill. Representative Eli Crane, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. God bless you.